My name is Rusif Huseynov. I am representing Topchubashov Center, one of the parties which has been in charge of organizing this event. I am thankful for my friend Carlo Frappi, Paola, all our team members who have invested so much energy and efforts for this event. And I am honored to welcome all of you here in this event. Today, our first panel session will try to shed light on the experiences of several Azerbaijani and Italian youngsters who have either studied or are still studying in Azerbaijan or Italy. So I have three Italian participants here: Simona Scotti, Leonardo Zanata, Federica Buona. From the Azerbaijani side, we are represented by Ayaz Rzayev, Jamil Ahmad, and Nazrin Guliyeva. I'll try to make this session as interactive as possible. Of course, after my questions, you can also ask your own. So let's try to make it as interactive as possible. So let me start with Simona, who has been living in Azerbaijan for almost a year, but prior to moving to Azerbaijan in autumn 2021, Simona, you also had a brief stay in Azerbaijan for a couple of weeks or months. Yes. So my basic question, what are you doing here? What was your motivation to move to Azerbaijan? Because, okay, there is this reality in Azerbaijan that many youngsters are living with European or American dream, and they are trying to find ways to move out of this country. But here we have a very unique case. A European young girl decided to come to Baku to establish her life and her career here. So I am really interested to hear your story and your motivation.
Hi everyone, I am Simona, and I now work as a researcher at Topchubashov Center, and I am a Ca Foscari alumna. When I was still studying at Ca Foscari in Venice, I had the opportunity to come to Azerbaijan for 2 months for a volunteer project. It was in 2019, and this was my first experience in Azerbaijan, and it was my first experience overall in the Caucasus. And it was not a long time. It was just 6 weeks, more or less, but it was enough for making me understand that I really wanted to discover more about this country. I was fascinated by its history, by the people, by the hospitality of the people. And so I was also studying at a university. I was having my master in international relations, and my focus was on post-Soviet countries, and especially on the Caucasus. So my plan was to find an internship that I could have in my last period of university, and I found it at Topchubashov Center. And after my internship period, I could move here to work as a researcher. I'm now working on geopolitical issues of the Caucasus and on bilateral relations between Italy and Azerbaijan.
Thank you. We have an interesting story with Simona because she had just finished her internship with us. It was online due to pandemic. We were still struggling with our structure and budget when I learned that Simona had already bought her tickets and coming to Azerbaijan. So we had no choice other than hiring her. But jokes aside, I am really happy that we have we have imported brilliant minds into Azerbaijan. Thank you, Simona. I hope there will be some follow-up questions. I would like to now move to the Azerbaijani section of the panel. Ayaz Rzayev is doing his PhD at the University of Trento. Prior to his PhD, he did his master at the University of Bologna, if I'm not mistaken. So I would like to learn why you specifically chose Trento and whether your expectations matched, whether the realities matched your expectations, and what kind of challenges you have been facing in Trento, in Italy in general, in your PhD studies, because your advices would be useful for many students who are aspiring to do their PhDs in European countries, especially Italy.
So, hi everyone, my name is Ayaz Rzayev. I am a PhD student at the University of Trento, School of International Studies. Prior to that, I did my MA at the University of Bologna, also in international relations, and my BA also in international relations. So specifically, my research focuses on international security and defense studies, and generally it's focusing on international security, but specifically it's alliance politics and defense pact. So why did I choose Trento University is because exactly the International School of International Studies, first of all, one of the top schools on international studies in Italy. It has very robust quantitative, let's say, quantitatively, methodologically, it's more quantitative based, and I needed that because when we think about European universities, we usually, in social sciences, we usually think about qualitative methods and so on. But like, I don't know if you know or not, but Italian academia has been very strong when it comes to quantitative methods. That's why I chose the School of International Studies, because I want to do my main research is testing international relations theories, and I want to do it. I'm using quantitative methods mainly to do that. It was the primary reason. And when it comes to why did I choose, Italy, because, as I said, besides, from purely academic reasons, I chose it because I did my master's there, and I was very comfortable there. It was very easy for me to get adjusted when I first did my MA at the University of Bologna. So I chose Italy. When it comes to difficulties and settling in, I really didn't have any problems to settle in, but at the same time, it's COVID times, so there are problems, but they are objective, and everyone faces them. One specific maybe difficulty that I can really observe between my time, like almost 10 years ago when I did my MA, and right now is maybe housing shortages in Italy. It's a serious problem, and rent prices are going up, and it's very hard, especially on students. And with rising cost of utilities, it's become even less affordable. So I think that it's it's the real challenge for any student, not only international students, but also Italian students, to find affordable accommodation, especially in small cities like Trento or Forlì, or any other cities that have schools of the universities. Like, it's easier to find maybe those apartments in Milan, in Bologna, but when it comes to small, like 200,000 inhabitant cities, it's very hard. Housing shortages is a very real problem, and I think that we know that government now tries to tackle it, but it's a real problem. And those students who find this affordable accommodation, they count themselves lucky, especially during COVID. Maybe this is it.
Thank you for your insight, Ayaz. Azerbaijani students, thank you for discouraging Azerbaijani students from going to Italy. Yeah, well, we actually had designed this event to promote Azerbaijan-Italian friendship and to advertise both Azerbaijan and Italy, but you're doing a great job, thank you. Now I would like to turn to the Italian part again. We have another interesting guest, Leonardo, who has been to Azerbaijan several times already, and who found a couple of days, and I'm really thankful for this sacrifice. He found a couple of days between his journeys to come to Baku to participate in this very event. Leonardo is now doing his PhD with the Corvinus University in Budapest, Hungary, but his research interest is South Caucasus and specifically Azerbaijan, if I'm correct, because we have already discussed about it several times, and in our last conversation he said he was thinking about changing his topic, but I don't like it. You have to stick with Azerbaijan. So please tell me why you got interested in Azerbaijan and why you have chosen our region as your research object.
Okay, here we are back from the Italian part of the ring, and well, thank you. I have to thank you otherwise to invite me, and for me it's just a pleasure to manage to find some time for coming here and attending this amazing venue. And as for my research interests, I'm actually being pushed a bit from my department of international relations and security studies in Budapest, because actually the first project I was presenting was not really so much into security studies, and this is why with my supervisor I had to work a bit to narrow the project and to fit it a bit with the expectations of my program at Corvinus University. So my research is currently about the South Caucasus in the perspectives of Russian foreign and security policies, and it deals with the concepts of ontological securities. So what I will try to investigate in the next years is how Russia managed to shape its strategic narratives in the region, in particular in the framework of 2008 war between Georgia and Russia, the 2006 4 days war, and the latest 2020 Karabakh conflict.
Oh, do we have an extra microphone?
I have no idea that is on both.
Sorry.
The microphone got bored, I guess.
1 second.
The Russian microphone.
We're supposed to have an extra mic there. Sorry, really sorry for this.
No, worries.
I totally feel you.
We can hear though.
Yeah, okay, you can continue until we get.
Okay. Sorry, let's.
We're Italian. We can speak.
Absolutely, we can make it louder as always. So I mean, just to say that my research is currently dealing with this kind of topic, and I'm very interested into understanding the role of Russian security policies into this latest conflict. But this is definitely not my first approach to the region. And I was here in Azerbaijan paying a semester exchange as an exchange student, doing my research thesis during my master times at Bologna University. I was mostly investigating energy geopolitics in the Caspian Sea region. So this is also a further reason why I became really interested into Azerbaijan. And now I would like to broaden this focus that I've always had on energy and energy issues, and to drag it more into regional security governance stuff. And this is why I had the possibility to have different trips to the region, to all the 3 South Caucasus countries, and I'm really hopeful to to get some insights in the next years from my PhD experience, to come to Azerbaijan, to collaborate with the center, and to get more insights to enrich and to give some added value to my research. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Okay, I will get you.
We're kidding.
Yeah. Thank you a lot, Leonardo. But just one short remark. You might be surprised why we are having students or graduates here who are specialized in mostly IR and political sciences, because our center plus our partner from the Ca Foscari University, we are dealing with these issues. So unfortunately, we don't have mathematicians here in this event, but maybe in the next editions we'll try to diversify. Now you have a great chance to right the error and tell us how beautiful your city was, because this is what the Italian guests are waiting for. But seriously, you studied in Venice, Ca Foscari University, you did... you're still studying at Ca Foscari University. So how would you characterize your Italy experience, and what have you learned so far, and how do you think your experience, your gains would help you in your future career?
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you for inviting me. Like, it's a pleasure for me to be a speaker in this event. Like he said, like, I'm Jamil, and I'm currently studying in Ca Foscari University in master's degree, and I'm working on my thesis right now. I'm hoping this fall, like, I will defend my thesis. So about Italy, about my experience was beautiful. Like, those 2 years was beautiful. And about the, like, for example, about the accommodation stuff, of course it's difficult, but I think at the same time it's challenging for us as a young person, that you need to, like, you need some, like, you will have, like, some obstacles in your life and stuff. So I think it's good, but at the same time, if you win a scholarship, for example, I think it make it like affordable to have a accommodation for if there is some, like, young people here who wants to study in Venice or Italy. I think you should go for the scholarship as well, then it will be easier for you to find accommodation and other stuff as well. So about my experience, like, it was beautiful and fascinating, because Venice is one of the, like, most beautiful cities in the world. So about the historical side of it, the architectural side of it as well, and at the same time, education-wise, like, I've gained, like, a lot of things in my, like, study and stuff. At the same time, like, one of the most important thing that I have gained in Venice was the culture as well. Like, because compared to Baku, Venice is, like, more historical. Of course, like, Baku has historical sites as well, but, like, it's constantly changing. But Venice is, like, always, like as far as I know, they're always, like, reconstruct the buildings and stuff. But if you look at the photos from the, let's say, like, 100 years ago, you see the, like, the same picture actually. So that's why, like, it was, like, fascinating. Other than that, one of the things that I've experienced in Italy is the community, both, like, Azerbaijani community and the Italian community, because with my friend we brought into reality an organization called like Youth Union for Intercultural Relations, and right now I'm in Baku, but, like, I'm trying to contribute to that organization as well with Turkan, with my friend there. So we trying to integrate more to the culture, more to the community in Italy, with Italians, and it doesn't matter, like, it can be, like, other foreign countries, people from other foreign countries as well. So for us, like, it's very how do you say, a great experience, because, like, we constantly interact with the, like, for example, even with police stuff, like when we have a, like, open air exhibition in Venice, for example, like it's a like one of my like main mindset before I went to Venice was to be active, not just being a student. I wanted to contribute to my community in Venice, and also I want to interact with the people from Italy, because I want to learn, like, not just like educational and academic wise, but cultural wise as well. So that's why for me it's very, how do you say, like, busy experience as well at the same time, and COVID and stuff. That when I was there, like, Italy, one of the first countries that had the COVID. So like, I will always remember, like, even though I probably won't live there for the rest of my life maybe, but yeah, it was a remarkable experience for me.
Thank you very much, Jamil, for not only for the information you provided about your experience, but also for your approach about trying to make change, at least within the community you belong to. I really appreciate that. Right now, it's time to turn to exchange students, and they are real exchange students between two universities, Ada University in Baku and Ca Foscari University in Venice. I'm going to ask you, Federica, first, and Nazrin Khanum, you as well. Okay, you identify yourself as a Ca Foscari student now, or other student, because you've been living here for a year now. Initially, you were supposed to stay here for 1 semester only, 6 months, but then I don't know, Azerbaijan maybe has this magnetic attraction that kept you here for another 6 months. Please tell us about your Azerbaijan experiences as an exchange student, but you can also underscore the negative stories you faced here, because I don't want us to speak about positive things only, because sometimes we have to face the reality. Sometimes we have to hear the bad side of the story in order to change what is bad in our society. Please.
Thank you. I'm Federica. I'm from Ca Foscari University, but as Rusif said, I'm now currently studying in Ada University as exchange student. And yes, first time I should stay here only for 1 semester, but then, as Rusif said, actually, there's kind of magic here that said, why not? I can stay here and write my thesis and finish actually my program here. I will start by saying the, let's say, last part of the question, or answering that, the negative side. I don't want to end up with a bitter note. I wouldn't also use the word negative. It's more kind of when you decide to go abroad and you have to be open to embrace another culture, another way of thinking, other people, and it's not negative. I would say it's a matter of difficulties. For example, for my personal experience, my biggest difficulty was actually physically settle in, because it was a very delicate period. It was COVID, and I couldn't enter the country, and I had a little bit, as I said, difficulty entering just and then settle in. So I would say that for me, that was the biggest obstacle in a way. And that's because this is a thing that I always say is I was shocked that I was not shocked when I arrived here. It's, yes, it's different culture, it's different way of thinking, but somehow people here are so welcoming that never let me feel like, not, yes, of course, international, but still one of them. So part of the group. And this is something that I found in every field of working that then I pursued. So yes, of course, there are negative sides, but it's more something that you have to embrace, because what is negative for someone maybe could be a plus for another person. For example, yes, here there are, even in ADA, an international environment for sure, but it's not that much developed. And for me, it's a plus, actually, you know, to understand the roots of the culture that I didn't know. Yes, of course, I studied it. My professor also here, he guided me in this choice, and I'm glad for that now. And as regarding the question of the double identity, let's say, is you know, I have kind of double passport, let's say, but at the same time you cannot forget where you're coming from. So of course my identity is still Italian and Ca Foscari, but of course in ADA and here I found a second family, let's say. But also the thing is that Azerbaijan, for what I think is a place, is a country of opportunities. I started here just as a student, but then I had the opportunity to, of course, do an internship with Topchubashov, and also now collaborating with the Baku office of Ca Foscari.
You also found several jobs simultaneously. So you have to share this experience with the Azerbaijani students, especially. How do you manage to find so many jobs, and how do you manage like to implement all of them at the same time?
I don't have an answer for that question, actually. But you know, it's a very, if you can actually choose what you want, it's a very dynamic environment, and it gives you a lot. And it gives you also a chance to reflect on maybe things that sometimes you are not, I don't know, just posing. So yes, for me the Azerbaijani experience, and then of course the university experience was more than that. It was beyond all being a student in exchange. It was something, it is something actually that is giving me a lot. And it's a good opportunity for me to reflect, actually, of my life. It seems like a very big issue. It's not, but it was a very great experience, and I really suggest to my colleagues to embrace this journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Federica. Thank you so much. Grazie. While importing Federica from Ca Foscari, we had to export ADA student there temporarily, hopefully. Nazrin Khanım, I would like to hear how it feels for an exchange student like yourself in Italy. Your stay there in Italy was shorter than other fellow Azerbaijanis. But what is your experience? What type of classes did you choose? What kind of advices you can give to next generation of students who might pick Italy for an exchange semester or for a degree aspiration? Please.
Hello, greetings. First of all, I also want to thank Topchubashov Center and Baku office of Ca Foscari University of Venice for inviting me as panelist. I'm Nazrin Guliyeva. Right now, I just finished my third year in ADA University here in Azerbaijan. And fall 2021 was one of the most special semester for me, because I was exchange student in Ca Foscari University of Venice. Well, I feel lucky, first of all, for me, because ADA gave us this opportunity for us to just apply for universities and experience this one semester in abroad. And
But please be honest, did you pick Ca Foscari yourself, or ADA forced you to go there?
No.
Because no one wanted to go. Okay.
No. Actually, there was big competition there. I struggled. But let's say that ADA gave us like two options. You can just give like two universities or two countries, and they will just pick for your like grades and etc. And I just selected both of them, Italy, Ca Foscari. Yeah, my friends actually told me that well, it's a little bit risky, like just put two different countries or two different universities. But I said no, just my heart really wants to go to Italy. I have never been there, and especially when like I saw the Venice, I was like, come on, it's like Venice. I need to experience this city, and I was lucky actually to be accepted there. I can say that I adapted Venice, Italy very well. Actually, I was like surprised how can it be like this, because I was like, I was feeling like not in a foreign country or abroad. I was like, it was really, really friendly environment, friendly people. You know, actually, I heard that like Italians are like Azerbaijanis. We like family gatherings. We talk loud. We like drinking and eating. But I was like, yeah, it's really, really true. And about the struggling part, I can say that I struggled not about the like the Italian environment, but because of the differences of let's say academic programs and teaching methods. Because in ADA University we have like a different kind of structure of teaching methods, assignments. We have like midterms, final exams, but also like presentation, etc. But in Italy it was a little bit difficult for me because it was different. So I had a little bit struggling because of adaptation process of it. But after like 2 weeks, it was okay. I adapted. So my recommendation for the next generation or next exchange students maybe just to don't postpone to your, let's say, academic classes, but start studying them from the beginning. And I chose the courses for my, let's say, major. It was business administration. So I chose like courses like financial statement, managerial accounting, and some like major accounting, and also I was minoring in law, so I chose European law, which is in ADA we don't get to know the European law, but here in Ca Foscari I was lucky to just experience this. And I can say that, well, these 6 months was maybe like shortened, but it was like one of the best moments of my life. And apart from the studies, I felt like it's the time to just explore other cities. So I trip like Rome, Milan, Florence, Pisa, Verona, and etc. Actually, yeah, celebrate my birthday in Milan. It was my another great memory. And I can say that I was really happy to say that like Italians really know about Azerbaijan when just there were friendly people, like they're asking, where are you from? I was like, Azerbaijan. They're like, oh, I love your Eurovision songs. I love your like Formula One. I was like, yeah. I was like very, very happy to feel that, yeah, like they know us and they love us. And I'm really also happy to see that we have great community there, Azerbaijan community, especially Turkan. She's really helping there for Azerbaijani Italian students. And now ADA also sent like 5 or 6 students. Now they're in Italy exchange. I gave my contacts for them and just gave some tips for them or some mistake that don't do that, some accommodation process and etc. And I feel like they will also enjoy there.
Thank you very much, Nazrin Hanım. Çok sağ olun. Well, I remember my own experience, Italy experience, when in 2014, my spouse and we organized what we call Viaggio from Rome all the way to the northern part of Italy by stopping by numerous cities. Vinci, Pisa, Florence, La Spezia, Milan, but it was a touristic experience. I remember we spent almost 6 hours at Uffizi, but it was still not sufficient. We missed at least half of it. But I really envy you guys. You had this opportunity to study in Italy, to absorb the Italian education, some cultural elements, to experience the Italian lifestyle. I had originally prepared some questions, group questions, to our Italian and Azerbaijani students, but then during this panel, I decided to replace them with, yes, yeah, by another question. For our Italian guests, what one or two things in your mind are associated or will always be associated with Azerbaijan? And the same to you guys. When you speak about Italy, or when you will ever speak about Italy, what is the first thing that comes or will come to your mind? Who comes first?
For me, hospitality and good food. Azerbaijani people are extremely hospitable.
Be more specific. Yeah, with food. Yeah. Which one?
As for hospitality, Azerbaijani people are very welcoming. I never had any problem. When they see that I'm foreigner, they do everything to help me. And I had some chance to travel to the region sometimes, and it was quite difficult to communicate because I don't speak Azeri yet. And but anyway, people invited me to their home, offered me tea. They try to have some kind of communication, even if we didn't have a common language, and it's something that is really amazing for me, and I'm not used to this. Italy is also a hospitable country, but I think this is a different level. And as for food, I'm very happy here to go to restaurant always. I like everything from Azerbaijani cuisine, and this is a memory that I will always have with association to Azerbaijan, yes.
Great, thank you. Grazie.
You want to go?
Oh, thank you. Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot relate with Simona because I'm vegan, so I have struggled here. But still, one thing that I really associate with Azerbaijan is chai, is tea. It's a ritual here. It's not just okay, let's drink a tea and that's it. And I guess it's very similar to our coffee, you know. Let's go grab a coffee. It's not just a coffee. There is something there. There's something behind that. So it's and it's also like something which is take it slow, you know, which is in our mindset anyway, both Azerbaijani and Italian one. So for me, what I truly associate with Azerbaijan is chai itself, the little finjan, drinking chai, yes. For me, it will always be in my heart.
But yes, well, being a vegan in Azerbaijan, yeah, it's a very disadvantageous, you know, position. You could have abandoned your veganism while being here. Back in Italy, you do whatever you want, but here we have our own rules. So, yeah, but I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course, and still, I decide to stay more. So maybe there's something, you know.
So do we have chai break?
I guess so, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, if I can add something. I mean, I think that when it comes to hospitality, Simone and Federica really expressed it at the highest point, like everything what can be said about Azerbaijan. Like I was struck from the very beginning from the hospitality that people of this country have. And what I can add maybe is how basically for me has always been so challenging and interesting to travel across this country to discover new regions which go way far, Baku, and to understand how the reality of the country itself is very different from the one we can see in the capital every day. And for me, Azerbaijan is a crossroads of histories and culture, which I've been really fond of, like for a couple of years, and I never get bored of that. And it's so interesting for me to see how, like through all these trips and discoveries, to see how people, the reaction of people seeing that an Italian, and this is somehow related also, I think, to the sense of this venue, to see the surprise and to see the the good reaction, the good approach that people had, seeing that an Italian coming from abroad, from far away, is so interested into discovering their culture, history, and inviting you other houses, their places, and being so fascinated. Even if sometimes I'm not fond of the native language as well, unfortunately, but to see how they somehow this interest in and this charm is overpassing the language barrier. So this is something that I really associate to Azerbaijan.
Yes. Nazrin, okay, we'll start with you.
Okay, so first when just name Italy comes, probably people talking with, let's say, gestures and with their hands like this comes to my mind. I really loved it. I always like saw this in movies, but in real life I saw when they're like very excited or very maybe sometimes angry, they really talk like that, and I loved it. But when the word Venice
Do you also
comes,
do like this already?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. When the word Venice comes, first of all, I think the sunset and sunrises comes to my mind because I experienced the both of them while traveling in gondola, and the environment was like magical. I felt like I was in heaven. Even like my phone camera couldn't just picture this moment. So when I just hear the word Venice, that moment comes to my mind. Also about their like culture, art, and music, they're really special. I get to some film festivals there, explore the museums, and sometimes even just walking the street in Milan, we could say that someone just stand up and start singing something. So I think there are really like magicians or like musicians there. So yeah, that's all.
Thank you.
Well, for me, it's aperitivo and Negroni. But seriously, art, culture, food, nature, Dolomites, I mean, you name it. I lived so many years in Italy now, and I've studied there. I haven't had any negative experience. Even once, I didn't have it. And Federica said that she was shocked that she didn't have cultural shock. It was the same for me. I remember that first time when I went to Turkey, when I was 18, 19, I had cultural shock. It was so different. But when I went to Italy, strangely enough, I never had it. So, like, I think that I have positive experience with everything Italian now.
Even bureaucracy?
Yeah, that's strange. I don't know. Everyone always complains about Italian bureaucracy, but I don't know how. Maybe I'm lucky enough. But I always had very, Yeah, I know. I had a very positive experience with Italian bureaucracy also. But yeah, definitely for PhD students, it's aperitivo and Negroni, because you're always complaining and you're always in self-doubt about, your research and so on. So it's like therapeutic.
Well, he needs his visa to be renewed. So yeah, the bureaucracy. Yeah, they're wonderful.
The first thing that came to my mind when you asked the question was kind of like cuisine related, because I remember that during the quarantine, the first months of the quarantine, I used to have a couple of Italian flatmates, and every night we always like tried different sauces for pasta, and I remember like those days, and I remember how tasty they were, So I think it's the first thing. I think like it's very cliche, but it's true that like there are like a lot of different tastes for different kind of foods in Italy. So, but the second part is I think mostly about the people, because I remember that when I came back from Italy to here, I remember that most of the time, like when the topic when I bring the topic about the Italy or stuff, I always talk about how different people in order to their regions or stuff. For example, like how different are the northern part of the Italians or the southern part of, because I have a friend from Sicily, and I can see the difference. Like there are a lot of difference between the southern part of the people from the Italy and the north part, because
which is better? Which
I
is better?
I think for Azerbaijanis, I think souls are better because like it's always like clicked like a snap, you know. Just I remember that like that friend like from the first day we started to talk like a lot of things, you know, and like very like and he also like talked very loudly and stuff. And for me, it's kind of like one of my like features, let's say. And it's not a negative for the northern part because I think the main difference is it takes time for them to get like more intimate, let's say, as a friend. Because I remember that because I have a lot of friends from the northern part as well. Actually, I have a friend before I went to Venice. I have an Italian friend like that I met in Baku. So and fortunately he lived in Padova, which is near to Venice. So he also like he's from the Padova, but I have a great communication with him as well. So I think this is the two part, but I think the third one is because like I have a lot of things like comes to my mind right now. But I remember that like when I went to Venice, I researched about the architecture of that city and how they influence from the different cultures to for the buildings, for the like different stuff and stuff. And I remember that like I really fascinated by that how they influence from totally different culture, but at the same time when you look at the city and when you look at the buildings and colors and stuff, you can see the harmony as well. So that's the one of the thing. I think that's maybe the first thing that comes to my mind, that how I fascinated, because I remember like when I go to the university, sometimes I just stopped in the street and I say that like I'm studying in Venice, like I have to stop and appreciate more, you know. So sometimes we forget that after some time because it gets monotone. But yeah, I think it's very fascinating thing that the architecture, like in different cities as well.
Thank you, Jamil. Well, I think we can end this session. I really thank my friends, our speakers, for this interesting discussion, as they deserve a round of applause. Thank you.